Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Untitled Marvel Project, where your host, me, Tanner, and I'm joined by Tucker Hazel, break down the latest Marvel content from this week. And this week we are talking about WandaVision, episode 5. And boy, oh boy, I don't think I'm making an understatement when I say this was a crazy one.
Yeah,
We've been saying for a while that things have been ramping up, but I think this is things coming to the
this
teetering
is
edge of falling off a cliff.
this is certainly the ramp
Yes.
or I guess the other parts would be the ramp. This would
Yeah.
be the
Our
top, the
front
apex of the
our
ramp.
our front wheel has left the ramp. Uh if we're doing like an evil Knievel
Uh-huh.
metaphor.
So
But
we're in the air now.
we're in the air now.
All
Uh
about it's all gonna come
for
crashing
the next
down.
for the next
Maybe
four
broken bones.
episodes,
Who knows?
who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, it was crazy. Full spoilers, by the way.
Yep.
We don't say that usually at the beginning of these episodes, but there's some crazy stuff that went down. Should we just
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge the very end off the top? I feel like we
Sure.
should
Yeah.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We get a Quicksilver appearance, but
Yep.
not this ain't your daddy's Quicksilver.
No, it's not.
It's your X-Men's Quicksilver. It's Evan Peters showing up as Quicksilver at the very end of this episode. And there were rumors circulating that Evan Peters was in the show to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
I personally didn't expect him to be the Quicksilver.
Sure.
I thought he would be like maybe if we were seeing a bunch of alternate realities and bending
Yeah,
of
maybe they would just
illusions of
pull in a
things.
clip
Yeah,
from
pulling
one
a
of the
clip or
movies.
something. But no, he appears to be Quicksilver in this
Yeah.
universe, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
as
some
as
version,
uh
yeah.
as Monica Rambeau state no, Monica, yes, Monica as
Yes.
Monica Rambeau. I was getting Maria, but as Monica Rambeau states, she recast Quicksilver's or
Yeah.
Pietro. So yeah,
There's a cool way to recontext it.
yeah, it is. It's very cool.
Um, so I actually hadn't heard those rumors, so I was pretty surprised when it happened.
Yes,
Um, and that is, I think, clearly one of the highlights of the episode.
yes,
I remember that Elizabeth Olsen teasing a couple days ago saying there's a Luke Skywalker at the end of Mandalorian season 2 style reveal, and presumably this is it.
yes,
Because it is a big deal. There's a lot of implications here that we're going to need to look forward to in the future, see how they explain it. But I think for my taste, I know I say this on a lot of things that we do, but I'm of two minds of this episode. I
okay,
think the things that it introduces, I think the family aspect of it, I think the walls breaking down, all really cool. Can't wait to see how it plays out in the future.
yeah,
But actually, there's just too much going on in this episode. Like
yeah.
thinking
There is a
back on
lot.
it, they're throwing all sorts of terms at you. They're making a lot of references, some of which I think feel a little bit forced. And they're just because we now have the outside world and the inside Westview
Yeah.
happening
So
simultaneously,
yeah,
and it was a lot for me to keep track of. And I'm going to
yes,
rewatch the episode. Presumably, I'll be able to get a better grasp on it.
yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff I can't remember because I was just trying to keep my wheels were spinning, trying to keep up for
So
the
yeah,
entire episode.
yeah. Everything that happened. First of all, we get the introduction of like growing up Billy and Tommy.
Hmm.
We see them as babies at the very beginning. They become
Yeah.
5-year-olds soon enough, and about halfway through they become age 10.
Yes.
So presumably, I know I've been saying this for a while, but I think the Halloween episode is next. They're gonna take them trick or treating,
Yeah.
but we do get them now, like knowledge, like with knowledge of the situation, interacting and almost arguing with Wanda about like
Yeah.
her abilities. Speaking of Wanda's abilities, she's just like full on doing it in the middle of the goddamn street,
Yeah.
and she's certainly getting more bold. Um, yeah, I feel like, yeah, you're right. Of all the things that happened in this episode, because I'm just listing through them, getting so bold to the fact of confronting the people from Sword when she
Yeah.
leaves the bubble
Yep.
around Westview. There's a lot that happened in this episode.
Hmm. And I think that there's a lot of smaller things probably in a little bit of dialogue and background details, whatever, that are just going to come into larger play in later episodes. And there's a lot of setup in this episode for exposing more story points. I think that the the Kevlar thing from Monica's like 70s
Yeah,
style suit or whatever.
she was wearing a bulletproof vest when she went into the bubble, and that sort of Wanda altered reality, and it's now in her 70s style clothing.
Yeah.
Her clothing is
So
87% Kevlar.
So either that was just a way for them to expose that she's physically altering reality, which
I think that's what it
possibly,
is. Yeah.
yeah. But then again, that seemed a little bit too convenient for my taste. Like Monica was like, got an idea. She goes over to the thing, she goes beep boop boop. Bars start going up and down on a
Yeah.
fucking computer screen, and then she shoots the clothing. And it's like, for me, it's like that's a little bit too fast. Like
Yeah.
there's certainly some things here that they are taking liberties with to keep the story moving. But
Yes.
there were certainly a few moments in this where especially with hey guy, I can't remember the last part of that name.
Hayes
No,
or
no,
Hay.
it's a longer name than that.
Hay.
Haysworth,
Uh,
Hay Bale.
Keep talking. I'll look him
But
up.
the sword guy, he kept like saying stuff, and when Wanda was
Hayward.
out, Hayward, yeah,
Yeah.
when they were talking to Wanda when she was outside of Westview, I don't know. There's just some things in the dialogue and pacing of this
Yeah.
episode that I took a little bit of umbrage with, but I think it also maybe I'm just tired, maybe I just need to rewatch the episode,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Um, I I think that there definitely is something about Hayward because he seems very antagonistic
yes,
towards Wanda.
yeah, and I think it's the it.
That could just be him being like the typical like General Ross G man
Sure, yeah.
who hates superheroes, or it could be hinting at something larger. I know we've been tossing around the idea of AIM being involved in this,
If
so
somehow he's involved in
yeah,
that, yeah. But I think actually the one of the big moments of my sort of weird uncomfortableness with some of the
Mhm.
dialogue in this was when, in my opinion, Monica and Jimmy were both kind of forcefully defending Wanda. When Hayward was like
Yeah,
pointing out that she was a terrorist and all that, like she's holding thousands of people hostage, all that stuff. Which in all honesty, I'm on his side with this.
yeah.
Like he's doing his job. People are in danger. Like an entire town is in danger.
She's hurting
And
people. We yeah,
yes,
when Vision like does the little his little twiddly fingers on Norm's head or whatever, he's like, it hurts so much, and I
yeah,
haven't been able to contact my family. I don't know how much time has passed. Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
so yeah, it is weird that I'm not sure what they want you to feel, what the creators of the show want you to feel towards Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning they definitely do want you to feel like defensive of her. You want to
Mm-hmm.
side with Jimmy Woo and Darcy. But at the same time, I think later in the episode you realize that, oh yeah, she's being like selfish and like borderline evil with doing all
Yes.
this. I realize that she's grieving and everything, but yes, I think there might
Yeah.
be a reveal that maybe Sword was going to do something with Vision's body that she
Mm-hmm.
disagreed with, but
Sure.
as of right now, that has not been revealed.
Yeah. I mean, there's even a lot of story points that are again going to play out in the future, likely. That we got introductions to, like the fact that she stole Vision's body
Yeah,
9 days ago. I think it was
yeah,
9 days that this whole thing has been going on.
sure.
Um, uh, we also got sort of the teases that Agnes is more than just the rest of them. She is more cognizant of what's going on.
Hmm.
She's sort of popping in and out, like she's always there on time.
Yeah, I
Even
thought I
it
see. I took that to be as Wanda is doing that.
yeah.
That was Vision picking up on the on like Wanda's controlling when she comes in to like
But
help
then why did she
advance
break
the
reality?
plot. Because other people do as well. Like the mailman, he doesn't have like he doesn't do it so
No, but
overt.
but she was that was a whole scene that
Yeah,
happened over.
I think that's because, well, first of all, she's like a main character in the show,
Sure.
so she's going to have more of an understanding of what's going on. But
Okay.
I think the mailman is supposed the mailman the quick exchange there is supposed to make you think that people know what's happening, and sometimes like Wanda's concentration can break, and that can happen to
Yeah.
people. But yes, to some extent, they all realize. Well, we saw it in the last episode with Herb
Yeah, exactly.
when they were talking about Geraldine or Monica rather,
Hmm.
is that they all have some level of understanding that they're being manipulated, that something strange is going on.
Yeah, and to that effect, the only the person like other people that are having that same sort of realization, both Vision and Tommy and Billy are having different reactions
Yes.
to discovering all this. Vision, we know now, he doesn't know that he was an Avenger. He doesn't know that he was
Yeah,
scared. He doesn't know his life before
I
Westview.
I actually think that performance from Paul Bettany in that in that final scene was very powerful. He's like,
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
good.
know who I am.
Yeah.
It was very compelling.
And also the boys, sort of just uh, being cognizant of the fact that
They're
there is
walking.
weird stuff going on. I mean,
They
And,
they physically decide to age themselves up.
yeah. Not only do they do it in like a cutaway when they turn 5, which by
Yeah.
the way, love those 5-year-old actors. I thought they were fantastic. The
Mm.
10-year-old ones didn't get as much screen time, honestly,
No, no.
but they're also I didn't find them as entertaining.
Mm.
But yeah, and so like they've acknowledged the fact that she can do all sorts of crazy things. They think that she could bring
Sparky back.
Sparky, by the way, in the
Yeah.
show. Great, love that. Love Tom King's vision
Short
on it.
lived. Short lived.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't keep him around for a little bit longer because and maybe this is not the direction it's going to play out because clearly they're starting to shift even quicker than I honestly expected
Yeah.
towards reality breaking, towards Vision being upset, towards Sword being more involved. But I was hoping for at least one episode, which I guess this is kind of that of there being like family fun comedy.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't a lot of that. They were actually
yeah.
separated for a lot of this
Yeah,
episode.
I wish Vision was around the family a little more in this
Well, I think
episode.
Wanda even acknowledges that is that like he needed a distraction. She distracted him by sending him to work essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to break down this, and honestly, I just think I need to watch the episode again
Yeah,
because
there I can't even remember something that I wanted to talk about really quick was they were talking about how to breach the hex as they're now calling it.
yeah,
Um,
well, Darcy's calling it that.
yeah, well, it's catching on. It's catching on as she says. But I think if there was some little promo that we watched after episode 4 that I saw you watching, that was some sort of tank or something ramming into the wall
Oh,
of the hex,
the
and they were
10,000 pound whatever deal.
yeah
Yeah,
to like negate all the neurons and science words. Uh,
fucking
but
Monica just spouting science bullshit.
you know,
Throwback to the Incredible Hulk, in which the entire script of that movie is them spewing science bullshit for no reason.
but they did drop a little something that they said. I know a certain aerospace engineer who could help with that.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's going to be another character reveal. I don't know what that could. If it's a character we know, character we don't know. I'm
It's
trying to
got to be
think.
a character reveal. I mean,
I mean, yeah,
she was there was a close up shot of her typing on her phone. I mean, she's got a connection here, which I think it'd be cool to have some other, probably rather relatively minor side
yeah.
character that is
Do we know any aerospace engineers
engineers.
in the MCU?
I I almost don't want to look it up so I
Yeah.
can be surprised, presumably next week when that happens.
Bruce Banner, he's got a bunch of degrees. He might know how to do that garbage.
Yeah. But shit, I was going to talk more like that. Oh, to end on sort of my we can do some more predictions after this, but
Yeah.
one of the other things that I thought was kind of forced was the amount of previous MCU references that they did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, they did a Thanos name drop, a Captain Marvel name drop, a Mind Stone. Like they were talking about like
Well,
MCU stuff.
that stuff didn't bother me as much. I thought the weird recap of Wanda's like
Yeah, that
history
was,
was
and again, that's
strange.
also part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was the only thing that like stuck out to me as like a little very forced and weird because the other things actually do like make sense why they would talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, well, but one other question I had was how do they know what happened on the battlefield in Endgame? There weren't
Well,
cameras. There wasn't
yeah.
anything around.
Yeah. I mean, presumably, I would say that there's something that we're still going to get to is that there was an amount of time that passed between the end of Endgame and this.
Yeah, true.
The surviving Avengers are out in the world. They're presumably returning to their normal lives. They're
Mhm.
presumably have been interviewed by people who are curious as to what happened.
That's true.
And I mean, at this point, I can't even remember who's where and what's going on. But
Yeah.
like maybe people are interviewing Bruce Banner and he's sort of explaining, okay, Thanos came down. They had to explain that because I mean,
Yeah.
up to that point, half the universe had been dead. It's kind of hard for me to tell who knows what and why
Yeah.
because of course we're talking about Sword, who is
Secretive.
a
Yeah.
secret organization with a lot of intelligence and inside information. They have contact with Captain Marvel, presumably
Yeah.
through Maria and Monica.
Well,
Um,
not Maria.
well,
Not
she
any,
did
not anymore.
for a
Yes.
long time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but
R.I.P.
I'm just trying to piece together if there's like canonical reasons why certain groups would be aware of certain like MCU things. Because
Hmm.
like him name dropping the Mind Stone was a little bit weird to me. Because
Yeah,
as far as we know, no one outside of superhero people should know about
that's
Infinity
true.
Gems.
That's true.
Unless is what I'm saying is
Is
that
that
like
that's public
Bruce Banner or
knowledge in the
someone
universe? Yeah.
exactly maybe they made it public knowledge, but we weren't given that
Hmm.
yet. I mean, there's a gap of time there between the end of
That
Endgame and
literally
next stuff.
anything could have happened. Yeah.
Anything could happen, and that's an interesting period of time
Yeah. True.
in which the world is coming to grips with the fact that yeah, there was a blip and half the universe died and came back. Some of the Avengers are dead. Like we had saw in Far From Home mourning the deaths of um of Tony
Iron
Stark
Man. Yeah.
and Black Widow and Vision and who else was in that montage?
Was Captain America in there?
I He might have been, but we don't
Yeah.
even know what's going on with him. We don't know if he's dead or not. There's a time period there that I find very
Yeah.
fascinating. I don't think they're going to tackle it very much, but I wish they would.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how you could tackle that in like a compelling, like plot-driven, narrative-driven way.
Yeah, I mean, but
Just give me
we've just never had
Marvel,
things this big.
just release like a bullet list of things that are public knowledge, and I'll read it.
Uh-huh.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll dissect it on this channel. All right,
Uh-huh.
Kevin, call me up. We'll handle it. We'll talk about it. But do you have any predictions for the next 4 episodes, or even the next episode specifically?
Well, I think we're both on the same page as the next episode has to be the Halloween episode.
I think so as well. Yep.
In which the kids go trick or treating. Presumably
Mhm.
they don't age up more than 10 if they're gonna go trick or treating.
I have to. Do you think we get like an actor reveal for Billy and Tommy, like to be in the
At the
rest of the
end.
MCU?
Yeah, I would say maybe
I
after
mean,
next episode or
they're
something
gonna
like that.
cast 20 somethings in those roles, so it's got
Do you
yeah,
think they'll really be that old?
absolutely. I mean, who's the youngest person in the MCU right now? Spider-Man. Tom Holland's like 23,
Yeah, I guess he's canonically like
18 or something
18.
like that,
Yeah.
but he's like 23. But yeah,
We don't know
they're
how
definitely
old. What?
they're definitely gonna cast like 20 somethings in those roles. So
Yeah, I honestly wish they were younger, but at that point, it's not. Yeah, like what age do you think the characters will be at the end of the show? Is my question.
I think they'll probably be they're gonna do like 18 or whatever, you know.
Yeah, we haven't gotten them as edgy teens yet,
No, we need
which
some
is
edgy.
coming.
I think in the 90s is a perfect time. 90s and 2000s is a perfect time to do edgy teens in sitcoms.
Hmm. And finally, I guess let's just make quick predictions or thoughts on what is Quicksilver recast
What's
mean?
Quicksilver gonna do? Like Quicksilver recast. I mean, yeah, we did talk about that.
Both
Yeah,
things.
I think it absolutely points to the fact that they're going to do something with the X-Men in the next 4 episodes. There's no possible way that they do the Evan Peters from the X-Men universe reveal and they don't talk about the X-Men or mutants or something like that. They know what
More
they're doing.
mutants.
More mutants. Heaps of mutants. Too many mutants.
Oh no. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm skeptical of that, to be honest.
I just this might be me huffing some hopium right now, but I just can't see a world in which they do the Evan Peters reveal 4 episodes. So we still got 4 episodes,
Yeah,
plenty of
so we're
time,
halfway. We're
and they
halfway.
don't do anything else with the X-Men, by at least by the end. I think
Hmm.
they got to hint towards it. We got to get a little bit of something.
Do you think characters involved?
Magneto's gonna show up. No.
I mean, whew. I'm just curious to see how this plays out, how it ends. I'm on the side of they're not doing mutants things, not at least not in this show. I think
Okay.
that I think he's a sign towards something larger.
But
But what does that mean?
this is
Is he the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe? Clearly not, because he knows that she's his sister.
yeah.
Are they going to use the actors from that universe?
She's reaching across the multiverse and pulling in the X-Men universe.
No, but she didn't do that. She didn't bring him there.
Yeah,
She
she
didn't
did.
know that he was showing up. She talked
Yep.
about the fact that she's like, I didn't do that.
Well, then who else brought him?
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's some sort of there's got to be some sort
It's
of
probably
weird
it was
explanation
probably
here.
like a subconscious thing.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
But I think she's reaching across the multiverse. If you remember from the Fox X-Men movies, technically Wanda does exist in that universe. We never see her. I don't think. Well, we do see her, but she's like a little girl.
Hmm.
Technically, she does
They're
exist
not
in that
twins,
universe. They're not
which is weird.
twins. I think she's reaching across the multiverse, grabbing Evan Peters for the larger meta narrative purpose of bringing in the X-Men, hinting towards them. At least it's got to be a little bit at the end, but at some point in
Hmm.
this show. I don't know any other context in which they could do it other than
Yeah.
this show right now.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we've got a Multiverse of Madness movie coming out.
I also want to throw out there that I think I absolutely think we get a Doctor Strange appearance in the last episode.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because presumably the very end of this show would tie into the beginning of Doctor Strange 2.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. But on that note,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you
it.
for watching, everyone.
I think we've dissected this to an embarrassing degree, if we're honest.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be embarrassed here.
Okay. So yes, thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.